Hey guys, I figured it was about time that I posted a video. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, and I'm sorry to the people who are also on Equine Daily that I've been holding up. Um, I'm going to talk about what's wrong in the horse world. I'm just talking about one particular thing because there's just too much wrong to cover it in an entire video, and this is just my personal opinion. You can take whatever you want out of it. You can have a different one. I'm not saying that I'm right, you're wrong. This is just what I see a lot that bothers me quite a bit that I think is a completely avoidable issue, um, and that we don't need to do to each other. So I'm just gonna start talking about it, and you can comment your opinions below, and also say video requests because um, I'm not very good with coming up with my own ideas, and it's nice to have other people's take on what they'd like to hear me talk about or what they'd like videos of. Okay, thanks. I'm just gonna get started and start talking about this little rant thingy. So the one thing I'm focusing on in particular that I think is wrong with the horse world is mostly online. Like I've had it happen to me a lot online, and then over my years of riding, which has almost been 14 years now, I've probably had it happen to me maybe once because people don't do this in person. It's something that they don't have the courage to do in person. Um, the problem that I'm going to talk about is how we treat each other online. Um, we aren't very nice to each other, despite the fact that we all share a similar passion. But like in general, we let our passion turn into anger, jealousy, and hatred for each other just because we're so passionate about this sport that it turns into something that's not very nice, and we're not forgiving of mistakes. Beginners online get torn apart for the most part, despite the fact that we were all there once, and mistakes that they make are them being naive and not knowing better, not because they think they're better than us or that they think their way is better. It's just genuinely not knowing what's right to do. So, um, it's really unnecessary and it happens far too often. There's so much um, abuse to each other and bullying. Like, we're so mean to each other. And a lot of the time, well, 99% of the time that I've seen it, it hasn't even been because the horse is being mishandled or abused in any way. It's because the person did one small mistake, like their heels aren't far enough down, their hands are in the wrong spot, their legs slid back too far. Um, they caught their horse in the mouth once when they fell off because they grabbed, like, it's a natural reflex to grab something when you're falling, and it's not gonna kill the horse to like yank on their mouth that one time. Like it obviously it's painful, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not something that someone is doing intentionally. That's a huge one that I see all the time, and they're just like little mistakes that you get captured in a photo, and you don't know the aftermath of them, and people just tear people apart for it. I've gotten torn apart for such small things. Like last week, I got torn apart for putting a fucking breastplate on my horse. Like what is that? That doesn't even like make sense. That's not even a good thing to get mad at someone about. It's just a personal preference and what the horse needs. And we're so passionate about horses and love what we do so much that it makes our opinions strong, and this isn't a bad thing. It can be really good, but people use their strong opinions to be mean, and they let it get out of control, and it can turn into hate and anger towards people you don't agree with. And a lot of the time when people do this, like when they go about disagreeing with someone, they don't do it in the best way. They try to hide behind anonymous, they name call, they attack based off of appearance, they just try to hurt the person instead of just saying, I disagree with you, this is why, this is my opinion, have you ever considered this? They turn it into like a personal attack. And it's really sad that, seeing as we have so much in common and we're a group of people who share the same love of an animal, we're so judgmental and so mean to each other. And we're so quick to attack people because of minor mistakes, regardless of how new they are. Maybe the mistake was only made once. Maybe they fixed it. Maybe they know about it. Maybe they're working on it. It doesn't matter. People just jump on them right away. And I think that's a huge problem because if any beginners come online, or if people are considering joining the horse world and want to start riding and they see this, it's gonna scare some of them away. Like if I saw this when I was starting, I was really young, but if this stuff started happening to me when I was smaller, it probably would have scared me away. And it's just not nice. Like a lot of people can't handle it. It's gonna cause issues with self esteem, mental health, and like the extent that some people take it to is so so far beyond what is necessary. Like none of it's necessary, but people take it so far to the point where they're gonna be like a push to someone's suicide eventually. Like there's only so much people can take, and it gets taken way too far online just because there's the option to be anonymous. And even if you aren't anonymous, it doesn't trace back directly to you. You don't have to walk up to them and say it. Like I've literally never had someone walk up to me and start critiquing my riding out of nowhere. Like someone I don't know, a stranger. You don't do that. It's not okay. It's not okay in public. People know that it's not okay, and so they don't do it in person. But as soon as it's online, for some reason, if you post something online, you're open to critique. I disagree with that because online is a public place, but just because you're in public doesn't mean you're open to people judging you. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I think is really wrong with the horse world, and it makes me sad because people get absolutely torn apart. Especially, I'm mostly on Tumblr, so I see people getting absolutely torn apart for the stupidest stuff on Tumblr. And even if whoever is saying this is right about something, like even if it's a care issue that someone didn't know, like a common one is wrapping polo wraps wrong. If people knew that they were doing it wrong, they wouldn't be doing it, and being mean to them isn't gonna it's gonna scare them. If you just yell at them and like tell them that they're wrong and that they're gonna hurt their horse and that they're ignorant and like just tear them apart and are just mean to them and then don't tell them how to fix it, they're just going to be scared, and they could still continue using whatever they're doing wrong and just not knowing it's right, and then just be scared to post the evidence of it. And you don't help anything. You don't help the horse, you don't help the rider. All you're doing is being mean to them and hurting their self-esteem and making them worried about posting stuff in the future. So that is my rant, and I think that's a huge issue that everyone should work on. I know that there's people who don't like me. I know that there's lots of people who don't like other blogs or disagree with what they do, but there's no need to be mean about it. You can do it without being rude. And that is all.